Dark matter. It's the most mysterious substance in the universe. Little is known about it. Scientists are pretty sure it exists, but still don't know what it is. Now they have created the largest ever distribution map of dark matter in the universe, as our science correspondent Palab Ghosh reports.
Look up at the skies and you see stars. But this telescope in the deserts of Chile is able to see the universe as it really is, filled with a mysterious substance called dark matter. It can't be seen, but this instrument can detect dark matter by the way it distorts starlight.
This is a map of matter in the universe.
And that's allowed astronomers to produce this map of how it's spread across the expanse of space.
It's an element of, unveiling mystery, something you couldn't see before, and suddenly it's there. And you think, wow.
So what is dark matter and where is it in space? Dark matter permeates space, with galaxies like tiny gems on a tangled cosmic web. The bright areas are where dark matter is most concentrated, and it's here that galaxies form. But the map is not what astronomers expected. The matter should be slightly more clumped together. Instead, it's smoother than predicted by Einstein's theory of general relativity, which helps determine how the matter should have spread out after the Big Bang.
If the structures in this map are smoother than we expect them to be, which is what the results seem to hint at, it means that Einstein's theory is wrong. So you might think that that's a bad thing, that maybe, oh no, physics is broken. But for physicists, it's extremely exciting because it means that we can find out something new about the way the universe really is.
Building on the work of Einstein, Carlos Frenk was among a group of scientists that developed the current model of cosmology.
Hearing now that there may be something not quite right with the theory, well, it's very disconcerting, it's very alarming, and in a way frightening to see that maybe my whole life's work might crumble in front of me. But at the same time, it is immensely exciting.
Astronomers believe that we are at the start of a new revolution in cosmology that will give us a fuller understanding of how the universe began and how it will evolve. Palab Ghosh, BBC News.
And suggest that Max Planck's matrix, this matrix, is the conduit. Now, the idea that everything is connected is a very old idea. Even in science, in the late 1800s, there was a belief that there was an invisible web of energy that connects everything in the 1800s. And scientists were in a very heated debate, very controversial, as to whether or not this field exists. There was a very famous experiment that was conducted to determine if the field called the ether field actually existed. In the year 1887, the very famous Michelson-Morley experiment was designed to tell once and for all, is the field here or no? Yes or no? The field exists? It does not exist. In my opinion, it was a good experiment. However, it was poorly interpreted. For over 100 years, our science has been based in a belief that is incorrect. It's incorrect. Now, this is very interesting. 100 years later, 1986, the United States Air Force repeated that experiment. 1986, the United States Air Force replicated the Michelson-Morley experiment. They published the results in the very prestigious journal Nature, the scientific journal Nature. What they found was this. They repeated the experiment with good equipment, much better equipment. The bottom line is that the field exists. They found that the field is actually there. This is reported in August 1986, the journal Nature, volume 322. They said, the field is there. And not only is the field there, It measured precisely the way that Michelson and Morley had predicted 100 years earlier. They just didn't have the equipment to work this out. Now, why don't we know about this? This should have made the cover of every major magazine and newspaper. This should have been on CNN headline news or Sky News. But this changes everything for the scientists, because the textbooks all say the field is not there. Entire careers are based on the field not being there. And now the field is there.
Okay, this is so funny. What are you talking about? Well, this story just came out. Scientists have discovered neutrinos, which are incredibly tiny particles that can travel faster than the speed of light. Yeah, so what? Oh, my unscientific friend, it means E does not equal mc squared. Give me a break. I know what that is. It's the old Einstein equation. Yes, it is, but it's not true. Wait a second, buddy. Our current laws of physics are all based on this, right? Correctamundo. And central to Einstein's theory is the thought that matter cannot move more quickly than the speed of light. But now they know it can. Yep. So how is this going to impact the work of theoretical physicists who've devoted their careers to this? Well, in light of this, it's all pretty much a pile of garbage now. Stephen Hawking's going to be ticked. To tell you the truth, they're kind of getting what they deserve. Einstein's theory of special relativity has been questionable since the very beginning. Why would they base everything on that then? The scientific community at the time was kind of desperate to land on something, so they made a decision as a group to accept this as fact, even though a lot of people didn't agree with it. So what happened if you were one of those scientists who didn't agree? You were basically shunned, and you could kiss your career goodbye. Actually, a lot of Stephen Hawking's work has revolved around trying to find band-aids to put on the flaws in relativity theory. It's never made any sense when looking at singularities. Those are things that are incredibly small or incredibly large. I guess he doesn't have to bother with that anymore. Now that he's got some extra time, maybe we should invite him out to church. Yeah, right. I'm just kidding. Stephen Hawking is an atheist. I feel a little bit bad that the work he's done has become sort of redundant. But Stephen Hawking and other atheists like Richard Dawkins have been very outspoken and kind of obnoxious about how much they know about the universe, and they've been getting into spiritual matters that they really have no clue about. For super intelligent people, these guys have a lot of bias, and they do some pretty silly things. Like what? Like they continue to try to use science to determine whether or not God exists, when it makes no sense whatsoever to use physical evidence to determine the existence of a metaphysical or beyond physics entity like God. Stephen, I don't think they actually want to know how to connect with God. You're probably right. If you've decided that it's all about you and your beloved science, there's just no room for God. So what else do they do? Oh, a classic is trying to pretend that faith and science are mutually exclusive. That's just so ridiculous. What I mean by that is they try to promote the idea that science belongs to people with an atheist worldview, and people of faith just have no understanding or desire to know anything about science at all. I think science is awesome, and I expect our physicists to show us as much as they can about how God works in our world, but honestly, they've really screwed this one up. If you want to see another example of scientists using smoke and mirrors to try to pretend that they actually know what they're talking about when they don't have any idea, try to find out why gravity does what it does. It acts like a force, but it's not, and nobody knows what it is, but you'll never hear them admit that. If you look it up, there'll be a lot of stuff like, it's thought that, the theory is, perhaps it's, but never, we don't know. Stop embarrassing them. It's bad enough that they lost their E equals mc squared thing. Sorry.
Such a great thing to be watching here. And here we go. Now you see the sun hitting. Look at that. Really taking off now. My goodness. And now you'll see it continue to shine through the night sky as it hits another thrust set right there. Just see the trail it's leaving behind. Absolutely amazing. And to describe it to you, and you can see it, but from the ground, it almost looks as though a cloud of smoke with its own mind is just shooting through the sky. This is absolutely incredible. Again, you're watching the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base. This visible from Bakersfield. Absolutely incredible.